study is explore on manufacturing effects on the economic growth, employment, and the country transformation.
We will also discuss Cambodia challenges, opportunity, and future direction for sustainable industrial development.
Thank you for joining us. Let's begin with the key finding of our research.
Cambodia has experienced a strong economic growth over the past few decades, averaging 7.24% per year. Manufacturing, especially garment, footwear, and travel goods, has been essential for creating employment and supporting export. However, our aggregations analysis show that manufacturing, value added, and FDI have only a weak effect on the short-term GDP's growth. Despite this, manufacturing remains a crucial driver of the long-term structural transformation, job creation, and poverty reduction. Industrialization, supporting the country development by improving productivities and shifting labor away from agriculture. In Cambodia, the garment industry has dominated manufacturing, employing large number of workers, particularly women. Foreign investment and special economic zone have encouraged the new industry like electronics and bicycle assembly. These shifts have contributed to rising income and increased integrations into the global supply chains. Study from the World Bank's Asian Development Bank, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Lastly, the United Nations Industrial Development Organizations emphasize the importance of manufacturing in Cambodia's economic transformations. The garment sector continues to provide stable employment and higher wages compared to agriculture. However, researchers point out several issues. 1. Dependence on the low-value products. 2. Lack of skilled labor. 3. Logistical and electronics costs. 4. Weak local supplier industry. They recommend diversifications into the higher value manufacturing such as electronics, auto parts, and agro-processing. We use secondary data from the World Bank's International Labour Organization, United Nations Industrial Development Organization, Asian Development Banks, and Cambodia's governments. Our methods, including descriptive statistic correlations analysis and simple linear regression. Moving on, let's take a look at our graphs. GDP's growth averaged 7.24%, but with a major swing due to the global crisis. Manufacturing value added averaged 21.96% of the GDP's. Employment in industry rose steadily, reaching nearby 27 at its peak. FDI remained high, averaging 7.63% of the GDP. So now let's take a look at another graph. The graph showed that the sharp decline during 2008 crisis and the COVID-19 pandemics. However, Cambodia consistently recovered, showing the strong resilience. While this graph we comparing the manufacturing versus GDP's growth, manufacturing is more volatile than the GDP's. It grew rapidly during expansions and contracts sharply during the global slowdowns. For trade and FDIs, as we can see, trade openness remained high while FDIs stabilized at the strong levels, showing the long-term investor confidence. For industrial employment, the data shows continuous improvement, confirming that manufacturing is the major driver of the job creations. So here we have our correlations analysis. GDP's grow weak or negative correlations with manufacturing, employment, and FDIs. But the strongest correlation is manufacturing, value-added versus industrial employment, which is equal 0.868. This indicates manufacturing strongly increases jobs. As a regression result, its model shows the weak impacts of the manufacturing and FDI on the short-term GDP. Manufacturing explains only 12.67% of the GDP variations. FDI explains only 18.64%. This means economics grow influenced more by service, agriculture, and constructions. However, manufacturing remains essential for the long-term development and employment.
After we have discussing everything, we can say that the manufacturing is not the first engine of GDP, but really the long-term backbone of Cambodia economy or Cambodia development, that it can help people, it can create jobs, and can build the foundation for the future growth as well.
Say manufacturing doesn't push GDP directly, but it plays big roles in jobs. As we can see, the correlation of 0.868 between the value added and employment, which is really a huge amount, as we can see. The fact that the worker in the sector are women, which is given opportunity to the people from the rural areas. And as for this lesson, I can see that it's really important for the manufacturing that can have GDPs grow. And it's not only that, but it also makes the income stable and give the big opportunity to the people who move from the countryside to the city. And this shows that it's not only talk about the GDP, but it good for us to know how the GDP work in the country, even though it's not show the number.
But at the same time, we cannot ignore the problem. When I look at the data and the policy report, I feel like Cambodia is a kind of stuck in the same cycle. We still keep depending on garment and footwear. And we all know what that means. If the demanding from the Europe and the US drop, thousands of workers will lose their job. So the economy will become really vulnerable. And another thing I noticed is the skill issues. We want to move into a high value industry, like electronic or auto part, but the workforce isn't ready yet. So we need more technical training, better vocational school, or maybe partnership with company. Plus the electricity cost in Cambodia is really high, and the logistics are very slow. If these things not improve, I think Cambodia might fall behind other countries.
I agree, but I also think that Cambodia has many opportunities. Because now a lot of companies are shifting from the China and start looking for a new place to expand. So Cambodia can take this advantage if we are prepared well. Another thing is the green manufacturing. Company now wants a sustainable productions, and Cambodia could attract investors by focusing on the renewable energies and environmental friendly factories. With this, we also need to focus on the digital technologies, because companies now are using the automations and the smart system. So Cambodia can focusing on this area, so it could be efficient and competitive. That's a challenge, but if Cambodia is focusing on it, it would have a lot of potentials and efficiency and with the innovation.
So in conclusion, the manufacturing may not be the main driver of the short-term GDP growth, but it is a visual for the long-term development and job creation and also the poverty reduction.
To strengthen the sector, Cambodia must diversify skill upgrades, improve infiltrations, adopt greens and digital technology.
With the right policy, Cambodia can transition into a more resilient, competitive, high-value industrial economy.
Thank you everyone for watching our presentation.
Bye-bye.